Good afternoon from Marianna Wow Women of Worth. We are here with the last special guest of our Wow Festival, Walk the Talk. We are here with Alexandra Ganzon. Alexandra, how are you doing?
Hi, Mariana. I'm doing well, and thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to chat with you.
Oh, thank you very much. So, where are you sitting now, Alexandra?
I'm actually home in Florence. I'm in my living room slash work area slash everything.
Ground.
Yes.
Fantastic. And this is what is, about the human element. We bring in business, we bring also these kind of things.
Absolutely. Our spaces are multidimensional, so we have that capacity to make the space fit or serve a specific purpose, right? So that's absolutely part of what being human means.
Absolutely. So I will briefly introduce myself. For who doesn't know me, I am Marianna Penna. I'm founder and CEO of Wow Women of Worth. And this is the space for women in business throughout the month of March. This is our third edition of our festival where we showcase and we talk with women to inspire the women, and actually is a space where we can learn from each other and know about beautiful work that, or even sometimes, kind of jobs that we'll never think about. So I'm very grateful to have met during this festival fantastic women. And you are one of our Wow Women. Actually, I think it's the second or the third edition you've done. I think this is
I believe this is the third edition, Mariana.
wow, fantastic.
Yes.
So yeah, long time.
Wow.
So, what is WOW Festival? As I was saying, is an occasion throughout the month of International Women's Day. We are presenting and sharing stories about women in business and what are the successes, their challenges. This year, the theme is I am human. Why we picked this topic? And actually, we were discussing at the beginning when I was planning about it, and really wanted to nail down a topic that was very close to my heart. And I realized what is the challenges that we as individuals, as humans, are living these days, and is basically lost in connection in a world where we think we are very well connected, especially because of the digitalization, the social media. We are very much disconnected with ourselves. And I really wanted to take the opportunity then to have this statement, I am human, to remind ourselves, first of all, we are not machines. We are, especially women, that we are demanding from ourselves a lot. We treat ourselves as machines in the sense that we want to be always perfect, having the right answer, be pretty, sociable, having fantastic family, everything. But
The
this is
perfect life, yes?
exactly, exactly. And be, the one that is helping others also to do so, because we
Yes.
are helpers. But that is not human. And also, I thought it was a right topic because, again, talking about artificial intelligence, digitalization, especially women, we are not tech savvy at all, and sometimes can be even more frustrating. And being instead also on social media, for us is becoming even more and more demanding, be perfect, which is
Yes.
not sustainable. So, as I don't know if it's clear for me, and maybe not. Here it says the claim the worth of women unfolds through connections. This is what we mean by I am human. So that's why I'm also wearing our symbol of
Very nice.
yeah,
Very nice.
it is very nice from Patrizia. She designed this, and so this is it in a nutshell about all the work we have been carrying out. And of course, you could miss this edition because you do something that is very close to human, which is the communication.
Yes.
So let's introduce yourself, please, asking you, first of all, who you are and what you do.
Okay. All right. Well, for those of you who are meeting us for the first time, my name is Alexandra Gonzon. I come from the Philippines, but I am now living in Florence in Italy. I've moved here for love, and I my my husband and I have a 9-year-old daughter. So I'm a wife and a mother. I'm also a daughter. I come from a family with 5 girls. So I have 4 sisters. This is a very important part of me and a big part of who I am. The fact that I am a daughter and I'm also a sister. Um, so that's a little bit. That's a very short background of who I am. What I do is, as a communication coach, my main goal is really to empower other women to express themselves better through communication skills. And this is also something that again ties to who I am, because when I chose this, originally I was working in fashion. That was my studies is actually in fashion. Uh, Becoming a communication coach is part of a lifelong journey. It's part of a healing process that I needed to go through as well. So even what I do is a big part of who I am. So there. I hope I answered that question.
Absolutely. Well, so as I was when I was introducing you, I said that yeah, you are working with the communication is actually one of the things that make us humans. So human beings, the way they communicate is through verbal communication. So my question to you is how important is nowadays being clear with the communication? Because there is out there so many tools, so many ways to connect and communicate. But what is making us, to stand out and be good communicators and in the meantime be authentic with ourselves?
Right. First of all, Mariana, you're absolutely right. There are so many things out there already. There are so many tools that are supposed to aid us in communicating. We communicate faster. That's for sure. I was just talking to a friend earlier, recalling the times when, as a student here, I had to buy those telephone cards so I could place an overseas call to my family in the Philippines. And, I would be so conscious about the time because, that seems like it was yesterday. I lived through that time. And now we're into, okay, I need to speak with my mom or my sister in Australia. Let me hit a button on WhatsApp and it's there. So yes, communication technology has given us all these conveniences in terms of reaching people faster and having more ways to do that and doing that at a very, very small cost. But the real cost that we don't see is that, as you said, we're actually less connected with each other. And I think that's because we take so many things for granted. Precisely because we have all these things at our beck and call, everything is just a click away, then that has made us unlearn a lot of things. Like, oh, I'm not going to say this anymore. I'm not going to do this anymore. Let me just respond with a thumbs up and she's going to get what I mean. We're losing a lot of that because we are becoming dependent on what's supposed to be tools to help us. We're allowing ourselves, we're allowing our means, our expression to be substituted by these tools. That's what I'm seeing.
Wow. Yeah, absolutely. It is amazing. In fact, these icons, you are absolutely right. That is so fast and furious for us in order we are communicating, but we are not there. We are not present. We just delivering. We are not connecting. That is really scary thing. And while you were talking, actually reminds me when my dad. sometimes mom and dad, they tell me they were on phone for hours and hours. My dad told me the story was in train station because there were not the phones at home, telephone at home. Rang my mother. I don't know where she could pick up this phone, and they said that they were spending 1 hour, 1 hour and a half, and my mom was talking about her dream about a big house. My dad said, "I don't have a penny." He said, "Don't worry, don't worry." He said, "Marianna, as soon as I hang up," he said, "what she wants from me? Is she crazy or what? A big house, 4 bedrooms, lounge." But they were, and nowadays, if we think about relationship with the younger generations, actually, or they text, or they follow each other on social media. They don't live together the experience, but they follow
Exactly.
each other on social media. And also, I didn't know in the past, maybe the still is, I don't know the name of this app. Basically, you pin yourself, and with
Mhm.
you, it knows exactly where you are. It's like a locator. I don't know if you know about this app.
Okay. Well, no, the only thing I know that has to do with is like your share my location. That's like I'm
Exactly. This is even more advanced.
okay. This is obviously yeah. Okay, I had no. I'm not aware of this
Yeah,
one.
for example, me and you, we are connected on this app, and if
Okay.
I'm going out to the deli out there, you
Okay.
will know if you follow me that I'm. So even
Oh,
becoming,
it
yeah,
sounds like a security risk, but I mean that's the mom in me talking. Like, why would I do that?
exactly.
Okay.
So I don't know if it exists, but still,
Okay.
but until I think I came across with it 3, 4 years ago, but not being, in this, I'm not interested, so I'm still follow through. But that is the thing. The connection, as you said, is just the way how sometimes we are feeling that is it becoming a contact. So the connection, we are misinterpreting the contact with the connection because it's like
Yes.
how many contacts you got, how many connections you got
How
on
many
LinkedIn.
followers do you have? How many exactly? You're right, Mariana. It's like now we're starting to misread and I think uh, mistake friendships, real friendships, for vanity metrics, right? That's what we call it in social media, like the number of followers, the number of people who engage with your content, and all that. So much so that sometimes, people actually get surprised when you call them. It's like, oh, I was just asking a question. And to me, I actually give myself some kind of a quota on a weekly basis. Like I have to call a friend if I'm not able to actually see a friend once a week, because I'm so scared of losing that connection. Because you're right, if we don't do something about it intentionally, it's just going to, this whole system is going to eat us up. So that's what I'm doing. At least one phone call for a meaningful chat, or actually sitting down and having coffee with a friend face to face.
Yeah, and fun enough. Basically, if you think about anyway, my sister, she's 10 years senior than me, and she, for example, always makes the phone calls or she does the voice, the video call. Sometimes I don't make the video call. You jump on me. It's too much. I understand you want the connection, that's fine, but not the video call all the time. No, I
Right.
want to see you, I want to see you. Okay, that's fine. She's crazy. By the way, so that is one style. So the connection, the phone call. Even my husband says, if you have a problem, pick up the phone. I say, no, no,
Exactly.
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 Instead, nowadays generation, so maybe our generation will mitigate between, making a phone call and texting. Instead, the younger generation, if you say ring, looks like they're scared to
Yes.
handle the conversation.
Yes.
So, because you are teaching, I guess, also younger generation, so how do you see missing? What is the human element that is missing in nowadays generation where everything is, we are connected digitally, but there is not a real connection, as we're saying?
Okay, yes, it's true. I teach English for Fashion, Food and Design at a university, at the Scuola Superiore per Mediatori Linguistici in Pisa. So I teach first and third year Italian students who are linguists. And already there, I can see the difference between our generations, right? And I think what's missing essentially is that when you have a generation that is not ready, that is not used to calling people up, picking up the phone, and having conversations, uh, that tends to people tend to lack spontaneity, because then you always have the luxury of time to think, okay, what am I going to say, how am I going to respond to this message, or let me just have an emoji express what I really want to say. So you're never put in that situation where you have to say what you mean, and that says a lot about this up and coming generation, because some of them really have difficulty having conversations on the phone or even face to face, and that's, I think, something scary.
Yeah, it looks like they are very comfortable, but I'm not saying the most of them, but being on social media to show part of themselves. But when it comes to
Yes,
the real life,
exactly.
they are not social at all. If you think about, they are always on their phone, even in social life. I can't believe youngsters, if there is a table of five, each of them is on their phone. So they are
Right.
connected on the virtual world while they're supposed to be connected in the real world.
Absolutely. Again, this is yes. I guess the downside of technology, the downside of social media, because as we said earlier, we are more connected uh, technically, but in truth, we actually know less of each other, and the time that we spend with each other, we're more likely on our phones, and a lot of times. One thing that, and I'm also guilty about this, I love taking photos, I love capturing moments, I love taking videos, but I just realized, and this has happened, I think, 2 or 3 times. It's quite rare. But on the moments that I'm really treasuring a moment, whether that's with my family, with my daughter, or if I'm just admiring something, I tell myself it's too good a moment. I'm not going to ruin it by pulling out my phone and taking a picture, because I just want to live this moment, and it's just going to be stored in my memory. And that's how I can tell, wow, okay, now, so it's quite the opposite, right? Before, when you want to capture something, you're going to take out your camera, not your phone, your camera that has a film, that has a very limited number of shots, and you say, boom, I want to capture this memory. Now, to me, it's like, I want to capture this memory. I'm not going to ruin it by picking up my phone and snapping a photo. So it's completely upside down.
I believe so. Also, I think me have still my camera full of pictures, sometimes stupid ones, but I always, as you said, trying to treasure those moments. But I agree with you, we don't then live the moment. And sometimes when you see back those pictures, you say to yourself, I wish I was present there. I said,
Exactly.
but I was not living fully that moment because I was focusing on capturing it instead
Yeah.
of living it.
Yes.
And
Exactly.
that is really something because we are not connected with ourselves, with the place we are, and with the people around us. I think we should have a photographer. So
Yeah, that would be the ideal scenario, right?
in order not to miss the opportunity to treasure still having the memory. So that's funny, but unfortunately, but at least we have good memories.
Yeah, at least you have good memories. Yes.
So you were telling me teaching the younger generation what they're missing, but what is instead that you're trying to leave your legacy? What you like to leave behind you? What is the human element that you like to give away of you? Actually, give away, but we connect with in order to have a long-lasting memory of yourself or even a legacy.
Okay. obviously something I am still learning, Mariana, but I think one of my biggest life lessons of recent years is being compassionate, first with myself and then with others. And I think that has a lot to do with our theme today, which is being human. I think, and this is something you mentioned earlier, especially as women, we have so many expectations of ourselves, in terms of the different roles that we have, in terms of the different commitments that we have. Our to-do lists just keep piling up, and we're always thinking, I'm going to give my 100% in each and every one of this, something that is completely unrealistic. But it's there for some reason. We've always thought, or we were taught, that we were supposed to uphold ourselves to certain standards, and anything less would be some kind of a weakness. So to me, my one of the things I'm really trying to learn is to remind myself that actually I am human, and I am going to be inconsistent with certain things. I am not going to be able to give my 100% in everything all the time. The intention might be there, but it's not going to be realistic. Last year, I think I got burned out. I suffered from burned out 3 times. I had no contingency plan, because everything that I had planned was like, oh, I forgot to factor in a break there. And again, that's because I forget that I'm human, that I can get sick, I can get tired, my morale can go down. There will be days when I wake up and I just don't feel like doing it. So, these are the things that I'm reminding myself, so that I'm not hard on myself when things don't go as planned. And when that the what I'm seeing is, the more I'm compassionate with myself, the more I'm compassionate with others, because that's how it is, right? The expectations that we have of other people are basically just a little bit basically are either equal to what we expect of ourselves, is not if not a little bit less. We always expect more of ourselves. So that's what I've been trying to live lately. And I think if I had to leave a legacy, it would be that. It would be to be more self-compassionate.
Fantastic. And in terms of communication, so shall we communicate others the fact that I am a human? So this is it, in the sense that I can't do more than this. So setting boundaries. So in order that people know that what you can give, and their expectation, they are lowering down in order to respect you. So what is the advice in order to have this human relationship, which is based for trust, first of all, and secondly on respect?
Absolutely, Mariana. Again, that's, as you know, that's one of my the topics that I have in my heart, is setting boundaries. Again, especially for us women, this is super, super important. Yes, it's important that first of all we know what our boundaries are, and second, that we communicate that effectively in whatever manner we're comfortable in. Because if we just say yes to everything, and also specify this in the realm of our homes, because we always think, okay, boundaries, maybe professional, maybe that means not saying yes to another project. Yes, that's part of it, but it also occurs in the home, where sometimes we feel like we have to do everything. And what that happens is, when we're not able to do everything, then there's that sense of resentment, because why did I even say yes to that? And now look at me, I'm so tired, I'm so exhausted. And that causes a strain in our relationships. So our relationships with ourselves, and then our relationships with others. That's why it's so important. And again, this is a skill that we should all learn and try to hone, because you know our lifestyles are just so demanding these days, and it's not going to go backwards. It's just, the to-do lists are just going to keep piling up. So learning how to say, this is my limit, this is where I say enough, is going to be very, very important, because that's what one of the things that separates us from robots, right? And it's not a weakness, but it's something that makes us different, and it's actually where our inner strength lies. So definitely something that we should all be learning.
Brilliant. Thank you for sharing that because, as you said, is one of the most bigger limitations for women saying no, because we are fear we fear the judgment, the fact that we are not helping someone else, so thinking that we are selfish.
Yeah.
Secondly, because we are pleasers, and so is a hope that there is a technique we can learn to set boundaries. So can you teach us?
Wow. Okay. Well, the first step that I usually talk about, and again, I mean, we're all life learners here, is recognizing when our boundaries are crossed. Because I think that's the very first step, is knowing ourselves, knowing our values, to be able to say, okay, this is something that matters to me. This is my priority. When somebody does this or says this that violates a value, okay, that's when my boundary is being crossed. So that's the absolute first thing, is to know what our values are. And then once we know what those values are, then we have to have a way of letting people know, look, you're crossing my boundary, or you're making me uncomfortable, or this is something that I'm not okay with. Sometimes, Mariana, that even means just being able to say no firmly without feeling the need to explain ourselves. Because, when you get to think about it, again, as women, we always feel like, okay, if I say no, this person is going to get offended. So I better have a good excuse to go with the no. And actually, it's not that. So even just, to me, my one of the first or the simplest exercises that I do to be able to practice this is just, when there's something that I'm not able to commit to, I just say, no, I can't. And I don't even, I try to
Justify.
stop myself, exactly, without justifying because when you start justifying, then it already automatically makes you feel guilty, because it's like you're saying, I'm sorry, I can't, because when you really shouldn't be sorry, because what you're doing is you're defending your boundaries, and your commitments and priorities are clear to you, and you're making that clear to the other person as well.
Oh, so and how can you help? Do you do one-to-one courses, webinars? How you structure? How you help women to do?
Yes. So right now I offer workshops. That's both physical and virtual, and I also work with women through one-on-one coaching practices. I develop specific programs depending on the needs of my clients. So everything is tailor made. So there, basically that's it. And people can find me here on LinkedIn, and on Instagram as well. But this is my most active platform.
Yeah, I saw you've been very, very busy. Last year you launched, I remember your new branding and so on. I guess now you're so busy, you are less on social media, aren't you?
Yes. Well, see, Mariana, that's true. It's also partly intentional, in the sense that and this is a lesson for everyone. I feel like I spread myself out too thin last year. That's why you saw me like very visible across different channels. And again, earlier I talked about burning out, and that was one of the reasons. So this year, I'm actually walking my talk by staying focused and choosing where I want to be and where I want to have more conversations. And that is definitely LinkedIn.
Yeah, no, I totally see that because wow, we promote sustainable marketing. So in order to have the possibility to be, on social media or in any, marketing channel, but you need to wisely choose the one because the resources are limited. And I'm talking about money, talking about time, and talking about, human resources that can help us. So definitely in a marketing plan, you need to see wisely throughout
Yes.
the year when to push, when to stop, when starting again. You can't just throw out for example, for us, the most exciting times is during the festival, but then we have our rest, and then we
Right.
sprint again, because it's like a life cycle. So we have winter, which is the time where we slow down, and then there is a spring where you are starting blossoming, and then summer you relax, and then
Yes.
autumn again you want to have the sprint towards winter time. So we need to respect our business like a human being as well. We can't
Absolutely.
strain too much the resources, because otherwise, especially for the solopreneurs or small businesses, but even the major companies, they need to have an understanding also throughout so many contents. It's short time, and people consuming the content in after 5 minutes is already finished, and you need to
Yes.
think again the creativity, the strategy, and so on and so on and so on. This is not sustainable, and
Yes.
that's why I love the idea with Wow supporting women that need to be promoting, giving a platform that is helping them falling into the natural cycle of the nature, where
Yes.
they can feel that it's sustainable, because otherwise it's not sustainable. And especially for solo entrepreneurs and women that they're carrying a family on top of that, a business, is really really strained. So no, I totally respect and thank you for sharing your experience, that as you said, it was causing you burnout, going beyond the limits. And this is sometimes what we're doing, as we were saying, that we commit with ourselves. We want to do it, to prove it to ourselves first of all, and to the others. But it doesn't mean that if you say no to yourself, that's fine as well, in the sense that you understand your limitation, and you just go with it and embrace it, and improving, saying, you know what, I know this is the maximum I can do. I tried, it's not working for
Yes.
me. That's fine. So
Absolutely.
anyway, it's always a pleasure talking to you, Alexandra. There's so much that you do, and also for your community of Filipinos. How are you doing? What are you doing with
Yes.
that?
Very well. I think I mentioned I'm also active in this NGO that was specifically built for Filipino migrants all over the world. As you know, there is a huge Filipino community here in Italy, so it started here, but we are now present in very many countries. And what we do is we have a what we call a leadership and social entrepreneurship program, and that's a course that's done with a Filipino university, one of the top universities back home, with the intention of empowering the migrants who are migrants all over the world to rediscover their talents, their skills, and to make use of that. Because just and this is just short, Mariana. A lot of migrants, when they've been living away for a long time, and they've basically, a lot of them compromise their expertise because the kind of jobs that they end up doing, for example, here in Italy, is a lot less qualified compared to what they had learned back home. A lot of the caregivers here actually have university degrees back home, and they have to do that because that's the only work that's available to them. And through this program, we're telling them, okay, you've had to do that, but it doesn't mean you have to stay there. There is still a way of reaching your goals, your dreams, and this is how we can start doing that.
Wow, you're fantastic job. I really appreciate what you're doing for your community, and creating also this bridge that is amazing. So, Alexandra, thank you very much. I really thank you for joining us and sharing always pearls of wisdom. And I look forward to see you very soon on these channels, because I don't know if you saw, we launched our Wow podcast, Entrepreneurial
Yes.
Poets. Yes.
Congratulations on that. Yes.
Thank you, thank you. So definitely, I would love to have you as our podcast guest over there. I will have a good time with you to talk about your entrepreneurial pulse. What is the heartbeat that makes you to be out there and do what you're doing? So
Thank you.
I'll see you next time and have a lovely evening.
Thank you, Mariana. Have a lovely evening as well.
Yourself. Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.